All right, shalom, shalom. First thing first, I want to give all honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Macharash. We say Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Ba'ashem Macharash. And we give double honor to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let's jump right into this. This is World War III update. Everything you see taking place right now, for those that have not been informed, the World War III is inevitable. It's prophecy. Okay, those that have not been enlightened, your mind hasn't been opened up to this knowledge. You're in the trick bag. But we've been seeing this. That's why the scriptures tell us that knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. So this knowledge that we have is our safety net. This is our ground. Just like if a boat has an anchor, that means it's going to stay in that position, even though the waters may get rough. It may get turbulent, but that anchor is keeping you grounded. That's why it says come through the straight gate. That straight gate is also Yahweh Shai, coming through who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, and knowing his true Hebrew name. Okay, he had a name when he was on the planet Earth. It wasn't some translation. He had an actual name. That's why it says, what is his name and his son's name, if thou can tell. But these things that are happening right now are inevitable moves to show you that men's goings of the Lord. Okay, let's go all the way to the top. These people that are in governments on all over the world don't have a choice. Same thing going back to Nebuchadnezzar when he was shown the statue of that was broken down by Daniel. He was telling you that these were going to be a succession of kingdoms that were going to be brought up and brought low. Okay, these were moving of thousands, if not millions, of men into the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, that's why the Lord said that he ruleth in the kingdom of men. And we're seeing this now to show that there's no, we're even prophesying and telling them, but that's why the Lord said that their minds would be blinded because they're not opened up to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's why the Lord said, blessed are your eyes because they see. Okay, and this is a blessing to have because we're not running to show you that we believe in this. We're telling you these prophecies, and we're not running. You don't see us moving out of the country, running to some what does it say, neutral country to get away from it. No, we want to praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai in the fire, and then Lord willing be delivered from that. But let's go ahead and hit the news. Because Trump, recent thing about the Tomahawk missiles is blowing up, and Trump and Russia's warning and threatening the U.S., but it's not in the news. You won't see it in the mainstream news. You'll see it in here and there, but they'll speak on it downplaying it. So this is the first article. It says rattled Russia. It says rattled Russia threatens U.S. over Ukraine Tomahawk missiles. We will find ways to hurt those. Let's click off that. Slakia. It says we will find ways to hurt those who cause us trouble. And you seeing this thing that's brewing up with Venezuela, which is a proxy of Russia, Iran. Okay, it says rattled Russia threatens, or China also is Venezuela's in bed with China. It says rattled Russia threatens U.S. Ukraine over Tomahawk missiles. We will find ways to hurt those who cause us trouble. Moscow made a desperate threat Wednesday that it would shoot down all Tomahawk cruise missiles and destroy their launcher sites if the U.S. commits to supplying the powerful long-range weapons to Ukraine that could obliterate Russian oil refineries and military bases. So this is more provocations. This is more leading up to that day X, if you want to say that. Okay, it says Andrei Karpov, head of Russia's Parliament's Defense Committee, what it says, frustratingly advised President Trump to keep the missiles that have far more range than others sent so far by Western allies out of Ukraine. Our response will be tough and ambiguous, measured at what is that? Karabrov told the state RIA news agency, we will find ways to hurt those who cause us trouble. Okay, let's keep going. Because if you don't know what a Tomahawk missile is, this is what a Tomahawk missile is. Okay, you can see it there. It's a cruise missile. It says this is 2 days ago, Russia will destroy Tomahawk missiles and their launchers if U.S. gives them to Ukraine, senior lawmakers say. And you see the strategic victories that Russia's been doing on the field. They already know how to do it. They say right now being a drone operator in Ukraine is the most dangerous job on the planet Earth. Okay, because Russia has figured out ways to get around the drones. They mastered it. Now they're the masters on the field of drone technology. Okay, they're taking out spots in by like 6 or 8 men and taking out whole regions by just strategically like sending in like black ops. It's real life black ops, with attachments and everything else. They're using drones, they're using satellite positioning, and they're taking out whole units, man. So this is with minimal losses. So this is why they're talking about sending Tomahawks. It says why Tomahawks for Ukraine would be a real headache for Russia. You see all these different posts. Okay, so the main point is that Russia is directly threatening missiles over this, or threatening a retaliation over these Tomahawk missiles that are being sent. Okay, it says Russia stokes nuclear war. It says this is one day ago. Russia stokes nuclear war fears by saying world would applaud strikes on NATO heavyweight. See, Russia stokes nuclear war fears by saying world would applaud strike on NATO heavyweight. So you seeing that they're saying that hey, the world ain't with Babylon. We know that there's gonna be something that happens that's gonna cause these other nations to shoot their weapons also. So we don't know what the world stage is saying. All we got is news stories and different things, but you never know what deals are being made in the shadows. Okay, it says Vladimir Putin's top TV mouthpiece, Vladimir Zolov, has claimed that the world would applaud if Russia obliterate Britain in a nuclear strike, with the comment following on from Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky's warning of Russia's big war aspirations in Europe. The conversational state broadcaster, one of the Kremlin's highest paid propagandists, made the shocking statement while warning that the potential transfer of Tomahawk long-range missiles to Ukraine could trigger a new Cuban crisis, reminiscent of the 1962 standoff that nearly caused nuclear war. Donald Trump is reportedly weighing whether to authorize the supply of Tomahawk missiles, powerful jet-propelled all-weather subsonic weapon to Kiev, and hints at supporting the move. Meanwhile, Russia has been accused of training Chinese soldiers to help prepare for a Taiwan invasion. So these are all rumors of wars, all these things that are set to happen in the time to come. And this nuclear war is going to be atrocious on lives, man, because this is compared to the first death, which was the flood. And we don't know how many people were on the planet Earth during the time of the Great Flood, but we can imagine that it was a large amount of people. Okay, so we're telling you now that this war, and you see right here, new study on U.S. Russian nuclear. Let's click off Slovakia. It says new study on U.S. Russia nuclear war, 91 million casualties in first few hours. See, that's why the elect will have to be taken off of Earth. Okay, if they don't tell you, that's why it says that come up. The voice said, "Come up hither, that you be not partakers of her sins." So what's going to happen is that the Bible prophesies that the Lord will come and deliver his elect, his sheep, his bride, which are the Israelites, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are spread out through the four corners of the planet Earth, in what you call angelical vehicles, which the world ignorantly calls UFOs, because that's what they're unidentified to them. But in the ways of the scriptures and the prophecy, we have identified them through the spirit, the Rakha, okay, that the Lord has given to us to give us the understanding of what these things are. They've been around for generations, millennia, if you want to say that, for hundreds and thousands of years, okay? The world's not thousands of years old, but that's a whole nother subject in itself. But the chariots have been around before the foundations of the planet Earth. It says 31 million people could die and another 57.4 million could be injured within the first few hours of the start of a nuclear war between Russia and the United States, triggered by one low-yield nuclear weapon, according to the new simulations by researchers with the Preston Science and Global Security Program. But that's not all. The overall death toll would be even higher due to long-range consequences of a nuclear war, including radioactive fallout, global cooling in the Earth's atmosphere. Research added even a limited nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan could put 1 billion people at risk of starvation and another 1 billion at risk of severe food insecurity due to global cooling, according to the 2013 study by the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War. But that's why elect will be off of the planet Earth, okay? Because radiation, poison, and all these things, the factors that could injure them, that the Lord is going to take them away from that, okay? Because the prophecy is prophesying of these things. All right, the next update is that NATO allies discuss letting pilots open fire on Russian aircraft. So you see that. And then Russia ain't going to take that line down. They're not going to take their aircraft being shot and being endangered of their pilots lightly. Okay. And you have the incursions in Poland. All these things are birth pains, man. These are the things that are prophesied to be happening in the times that we're living. It says NATO allies are discussing easing rules for pilots to permit them to shoot down Russian aircraft, according to a report. According to a report by the Financial Times, the news comes as allied members considered a tougher approach against Moscow following a separate spat against alleged airspace violations, drone swarms, and sabotage pilots in Europe. A NATO official told Newsweek, when it comes to the range of hybrid or gray zone activities we've seen, including cyber attacks, drone incursions, or attempts to sabotage critical infrastructure, NATO is working closely with allies to ensure that we're taking appropriate steps to ensuring we can deter and defend. This isn't new, and we continue to adapt to the situations evolve. So you're seeing all these things, man. All right, these are news stories to show you that it's full-fledged, it's full speed ahead, because prophecy is full speed ahead. There's nothing that these nations can do to stop what's getting ready to take place. A skirmish, a incident, a one false move, but we're waiting on the MOTB, okay, which is the mark of the beast, which is coming in the way of a digital currency. Digital infrastructure has already been set. China's the training ground for that. They're already setting up the digital credit system, all these things that are going to be tied right along with that mark, okay? So these are the things and the stuff that we need to watch for. Okay, let's see here. It says Europe worries it's already at war and America hasn't noticed. So, hey, the war is here, man. Okay, it says Europe worries it's already at war and America hasn't noticed. I don't want to succeed. Now they're going to have to subscribe to it. You can look at the article if you'd like to go into it, but the war is already pretty much here. It's a proxy war now, but it's going to lead to a hot war. Putin says Russian air defense report responsible for Azerbaijan jet crash last year, killing 38. Oh, shit, that's another article. Let's go here. It says Ukraine to nominate Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for the Tomahawk. Let me read that again. Zelensky, if Trump gives us Tomahawks, we'll lobby for Nobel Peace Prize. This man is fervent about getting this peace prize, and this is what I pulled up here. This is to say, because he wants peace so much, he's trying to get that peace prize. He's caused supposedly solved these wars, but this is what First Thessalonians 5:3 says. It says, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor's pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. Just like I told you earlier, all these moves are like contractions for the birth of the nation of Israel and the birth of the kingdom to come. Okay? So Yabashim Yashai is moving this man. He's saying peace, peace, but he's sending Tomahawk missiles to a war zone that's killed millions of people. Okay, so how's that peace? That's not solving it. That's pushing it, the envelope, and pushing the button even closer to the end. Okay, so Yabashim Yashai is moving the goalposts fast. Things are happening day by day. And one day it's another story. The next day it's another story. You got to let it compile, man. Okay. Let's read it in NLT. NLT, it says, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall upon them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. So there's no escape coming to this place, man. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 13:4, NLT. Hear the noise of mountains, listen as the vast armies march. It is the noise and the shouting of many nations. The Lord of heaven's army has called this army together. King James, the noise of a multitude in the mountains like as great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So let's look up what this word mustereth. Because everybody seems to think that, Satan did it. No, the Lord is mustering. The word mustering is to, what is that? Archaic third person singular, present tense form, the word mustereth, meaning to gather or to assemble. To gather or to assemble. Muster, to base. Muster means to gather people or things, especially for a review or inspection. What did it say? They shall in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat. He shall plead with them there. So he's gathering these nations into the Middle East, different parts of the planet Earth. He's mustering. How do you muster? It says mustering, especially muster means gathering people or things. So things also include the MOTB, the digital currency. All those take place with many factors have to go behind that. Just like many things took to be able to even invent the chip. But all these things are coming together for prophecy's sake. And we're the ones that are reporting on it, telling you this. That's why it says I sent forth those that shall feed you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, according to the will of Yahweh Shem Shai. It's not us. We're just telling you these things that are coming down the pipe to prepare yourself. Get ready. For the Israelites, those that are, set for the election and adoption, prepare yourself. Those that are praying and don't want it, that's on you. But either way, you got to prepare. Prepare to be destroyed or prepare to be saved, man. Okay, the world is moving towards a place of, but all this is for refreshing because the Lord doesn't do everything. It's a just balance. Just like the flood, it shaped the planet that we have today. Okay, it moved land masses to fulfill prophecy again. America would not have come to pass without the flood coming to pass. So this is the building of the kingdom of heaven on the planet Earth. The earth is going to be reinvigorated after this war because fire also is a cleansing agent. It's going to burn a lot of the toxins, burn a lot of the chemtrails, a lot of these different things that have taken place to the planet Earth that, the Lord needs to fix. That's in his will and his powers. And nothing's out of control. Everything's on course. Everything is perfect. There's nothing to be freaked out about. All right, Yahweh Shem Shai is moving this thing because he knows he's the builder, okay? He's the ultimate architect, engineer, okay? The spiritual engineer. All right, but the main points have been hit. I just wanted to bring out that information, World War III update. I'm sure there'll be some more information coming out by this weekend. We got Tabernacle coming up. So all these things are happening, man. So with that, I say, call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakurash. Until the next time, I say Shalom. And more, and I'll never keep faith. Shalom.